So if you think about, should I ask, I guess, I'm trying to let that edit this out. I just
That's
fucking
fine.
stumbled. That's just stumbled like a motherfucker there.
Bringing to you the best stories from icons in the bourbon industry, it's Bourbon Pursuit. Now here are your hosts, Ryan and Kenny.
We're back again with another episode of the Bourbon Pursuit podcast. My name is Kenny, and I'm joined, as always, with my partner, Ryan. How you doing today, friend?
Doing really well. Excited to be back at Mint Julep Tours. I screwed up the audio last time, so I'm glad to get a second chance.
Take two.
Take two. So appreciate you having us back, Sean. Looking forward to hearing it all again.
My pleasure. You keep bringing bourbon for these things. I'll keep attending.
Absolutely.
That's the easy way to make it happen, right? So for anybody that doesn't know, we're here with Mint Julep Tours, and today we have Sean. Sean is the Chief Fun Officer at Mint Julep Tours. So I'm not going to go ahead and I'm not going to try to explain his business. I want you to go ahead and kind of give us an idea first about Mint Julep Tours, and then we'll kind of dig into your history.
Sure. Mint Julep Tours is a daily tour operation based out of Louisville, Kentucky. Primary focus is on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. They're coming from all over the world to come see the Bourbon Trail, so we want to get them out there and back safely. We also do city tours of Louisville and historic Louisville. We also do some culinary tours, and of course we take people out to the Churchill Downs Museum and out to horse country as well.
So you got a wide array of products in the catalog. So I guess we'll kind of go back and we'll start. Can you remember? I guess because you kind of started this to really tailor towards the bourbon industry, and you kind of added on as you've seen demand grow. So I guess how did you get into the bourbon industry, or can you remember the first time you had bourbon? If there's any kind of memories.
Well, I hate to tattletale on my parents, but the first time I remember having bourbon was in hot toddies. And I had a lot of colds, or else they wanted to put me to sleep earlier at night every night.
Or you were teething and your gums were...
That's it. And my uncle was a Brown Foreman guy, so early times was all over the house at the time. But then I remember leaving college and going out to California, and my brand was Maker's Mark. And there was really two things you couldn't get out in California when I first landed out there. Big Red soda.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and Maker's Mark.
Nice. But could you get Dr. Thunders? You remember Dr. Thunder? The big case special?
You couldn't get LA1 either.
Oh, no, definitely not that.
But we couldn't get Maker's Mark out there. So we became a huge brand ambassador, trying to drive all the local liquor stores into carrying the brand. And this was in the early 80s. And, ultimately you could get it and enjoy it out there without having to sneak it out on the airplane as you go back and forth from Louisville to California.
So about what time did it hit California then?
I don't know, but I'm guessing late 80s, early 90s, sometime around there.
Was this I guess this was probably pre-Maker's Mark Ambassador times when I guess, they're huge in the marketing of the Maker's Mark Ambassadors. They have events, you get wristbands, they send you
get
bottle
coasters.
Yeah, they send you bottle sweaters during Christmas or whatever. But was this before those huge marketing days?
Yeah, this was way before then. So we were just ambassadors trying to drive the product out to California as fast as we could so we can enjoy it.
Yeah, so
everybody in Cal has you to thank to get it out.
Oh yeah,
I think so. I think Bill Samuels and Rob and the rest of California should thank Jeff Irwin, my best buddy, and Sean Higgins for driving the brand into Southern Cal.
Well, great. Yeah, that's great to know. So I guess let's talk about the tours, right? So I guess what are the kind of catalog of products that you offer here at Mint Julep?
So we've got several. Off-the-shelf tours. We have a public tour that leaves on Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays. We do the Bourbon Trail going south and east on those, and those you can go online and purchase tickets for. The majority of our business is customized tours, so we've got groups coming from all over the world that contact us in advance. And we really customize the day to whatever their bucket list and dreams are as they come to Kentucky. So we've done no two tours are alike, no two groups are alike, and so we customize a tremendous amount of them.
Is that any day of the week, the customized tours?
Any day of the week,
Gotcha.
7 days a week.
Awesome.
Yep.
So then I think you told us before that you can kind of hop on a bus whenever there's spots available too, like these individual things. So I guess Is that something that you can just do on a whim, that you can just call up and be like, you guys leaving today or tomorrow, or how's that work?
Yeah, we've scheduled them now though. It's Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays. We normally leave about 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and one bus will go east, one bus will go south, and the same for Fridays and Saturdays. So right now it's a jump on as tickets allow. But it's scheduled on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays.
And so if you're going east, I guess, what are you going to see if you go east?
If you go east, certainly in our customized tours, you're going to see everything from the big distillers to the craft distillers to some horse farms and great lunch spots. If you do a customized tour. On the public tour, you're going to see Buffalo Trace and Woodford Reserve and either Wild Turkey or Four Roses.
So talk about what you would see on the South tour.
Yeah, so South, we certainly hit Maker's Mark and Jim Beam, and as time permits, Heaven Hill or 1792 or Willett.
So if you are going to take one of these tours and you just hop on a public one, I guess how many distilleries could we see in one go or one day?
Yeah, formalized, we've got two for sure. And then if time permits, and a lot of times there is time permitting, we'll do a third tour, and it'll be a sampling at one of the other distilleries. We've had a lot of groups that have wanted to do 3 and 4, and we have done 3, occasionally done 4 in a day, but you're just constantly rushed, and You're moving at the speed of light between distillery and distillery.
Yeah, you can't enjoy each distillery.
You really can't sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself, and so we don't like it, and the guest experience is a little bit diminished because it's what they want, but we try to counsel them. If you really want to sit back and relax and enjoy the day, 2 plus a really nice lunch is the best way to go.
So lunch is included with all this sort of stuff. So I guess what does the day entail? I guess when does it end, right? Because it sounds like it's a pretty long day.
Yeah, it's normally 8 or 9 hours. So we'll leave at 8:30 or 9, and we won't be back here until 5 or 5:30. So it's a full day.
I mean, so like for the public tours, what's kind of like the cost on something like that?
The cost of public tours is $99, and then the cost of the venue, tickets, and lunch. So it ends up to be around $139 per person.
Do you see as the custom tours are more popular, or just the people that, you got 1 or 2 or 3 in a party that are trying to get on?
The largest percentage of our business is the customized tours because people are coming in groups, and but the public tour had our largest growth spurt between 2013 and 2014. So it's certainly, it's a more affordable way to do the trail.
Right.
And if you're just coming with 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 friends, it's probably one of the best ways to do it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, $130 for 8 hours entertainment. I don't see you getting that anywhere else.
No, it's packed full of fun, packed full of bourbon, and a good time and entertaining. So it's
I guess
a good value.
What's the smallest amount and what's the largest amount? I guess I could say if I have a group of friends that are coming to, whether it's a party or we're just bringing family to go and experience the Bourbon Trail. I guess what are the range of things that we could do to say we're going to charter our own bus for this?
Everything from, we've had groups of men that come in and we do skeet shooting before the Bourbon Trail. Now, there's no alcohol before we put the gun in somebody's hand. We've done zip lining at the Mega Cavern, so it's a zip, sip, and dip tour that we've done with Maker's Mark. Cool. Yeah, and the Mega Cavern. We've done horse farms and bourbon. We've done wineries and bourbon. We've done beer and bourbon. We even had a Saints and Sinners tour. So we went down the Abbey of Gethsemane and saw what Thomas Burton was at the monastery and
bourbon balls,
listened to the Gregorian chant and then ended up at Heaven Hill.
There you go.
Nice.
So I guess this is really tailored to what anybody wants. So the way I'm thinking about this, me and Ryan, we're pretty young, even though we're all married. We're married. But there's probably a lot of listeners out there that are starting to think, well, I've got bachelor parties coming up, right? So I guess give us an idea of what a bachelor party would look like for you all. Because there's a good quote on the website, right? It says, first comes love, second comes marriage, but not before an unforgettable kick-ass bourbon adventure with your friends.
Yeah. It's a big market for us. I think people are tired of going to Vegas and Atlantic City and New Orleans and other places. And it's just a great Louisville. People are finding Louisville is a great place to entertain yourself, have good food, and enjoy an experience. A great thing that we offer to the bachelors is it really just takes 1 or 2 calls, and we'll take the planning out of their hands. We'll take the scheduling, the logistics, and everything out of their hands, so they can just sit back, relax, enjoy the day with their friends. And we've had a tremendous amount of repeat businesses. So it's funny, some of the guys in the bachelor party, it's now their time to get married. So they're coming back with their bachelor parties as well.
So at that point, you really just have to worry about your accountability buddy at this point, right? Yeah, you
the toughest thing with bachelors is Louisville's a 4 a.m. Bars don't close till 4 a.m.
Yeah.
So just rattling their cages and getting them out in the morning at 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning is the biggest challenge for us, just to keep that schedule on time. So we try to tell them, get a good night's sleep the night before, and then Saturday night, blow it out.
So I guess, how often do they actually listen to that advice and heed that warning, right?
Some of them do. There's a few of them that don't.
Yeah, I'm sure. I wish I'd done a Mint Julep tour. I did mine in Vegas, and it got a little too crazy. So I wish I was stuck around here.
Well,
Sounds like
crazy.
a lot more fun.
It's that Vegas gets super expensive too,
Exactly.
right?
Louisville's really affordable, and we have tons of great restaurants. We have 4 or 5 James Beard chefs, and it's centrally located, so everybody can fly to it pretty easily, I think. So I think it's a good offering to have a bachelor party here. You got 4th Street right downtown, Jeff Ruby's, tons of stuff just right here in downtown.
So if I'm gonna schedule this bachelor party, am I able to bring anything on the bus with me? Whether it's undercovers, or do you give me a cooler to use? How does that work?
Oh yeah, sure. We're an open policy here, so we provide a cooler with ice and water. Then you provide all the beverages of your choice.
We'll just leave it at that then, right?
There you go.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, keep it nice and simple.
So talk about how you kind of came up with this idea, because it seems like you are one of the only ones doing it, or the only one doing it around here. How did you figure this out, or hey, this is what I want to do?
Well, our history goes back to the early days, right? So 2007, we started conceptualizing the idea with a couple of buddies. We used to get together and smoke cigars and drink bourbon. And one of my buddies was an executive at the Convention and Visitors Bureau. The other one was an executive with Maker's Mark. And they started educating Lisa and I about this Bourbon Trail experience.
Who's Lisa before anybody else that doesn't
Lisa's
know?
My wife.
Okay.
And partner. Actually, she's my boss. Lisa's my boss. That's right. But we started. They started sharing this concept and this idea that the state and the city were really going to start promoting and driving with the distilleries. And when I asked them, well, when somebody calls and asks how they do this Bourbon Trail, what's the answer? And they said, we give them a map. I said, you give them a map? And they said, yeah. And I said, well, how did they get around this
thing?
Did
they know how far it is from Loretta to
Frankfurt?
Lawrenceburg?
Well, and the other thing was, nobody wanted to have the image of promoting drinking and driving either. So it's all drink responsibly. And we're all about that moniker, is drink responsibly. But our motto is the purpose of fun is to have some. So we rolled out a bourbon bus, and the city helped us with wrapping the official bourbon bus in the city, and we started promoting, catch our services, get a safe ride around, and we started, and it's been a great success ever since.
How many buses did you start off with?
One. It was in our driveway.
Yeah.
And Lisa was sales, I was operations and tour guide, and it was a beautiful thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, now we've got 10.
Now talk about your guides. How do you go about searching for them or the drivers and so forth?
And it's really a tremendous value that we found with our employees. It's just they're passionate about what they do, and they've come from all walks of life. We've had men that were contractors, physical therapists, professional drivers. We've got women that are raising a family but want to do something on the side, all the way to women that just love to show off and showcase the city as well as the Bourbon Trail experience. So we've been blessed and honored to get the people that we have, and the accolades that they're receiving out there. They're just knowledgeable, passionate, and friendly.
Do you train them in-house, or they kind of know what they're doing when they come in here?
No, we train them. We have a pretty rigorous training program, so we're proud about that. Cool. And it's quite an extensive training that we offer. But once they're out there and footloose and fancy-free, it's all about sharing useless information that everybody loves to take home and repeat.
Well, guides kind of make or break your tours. I went in one in Italy, and what made it memorable was that guide. He really took us on and kind of took us under his wing, so that they really make a huge difference.
Because you got to remember, the time that you're at the distillery and you're taking the tours there, it's about an hour, right? And if you're hitting 2, maybe 3, that's 3 hours, and you've got an extra 5 to 6 hours of the day. You've got to be feeding people with information, right? And as you're driving, you've got to be able to take these little things and And I would probably estimate that it's probably not all about bourbon, right? I mean, I guess you're like throwing some facts about Kentucky as you're going through. And,
oh yeah,
and all that
it's
kind of stuff.
200 years of history between how bourbon got here, horses got here, Prohibition, its impact, and all the way through today's time. So it's filled with entertainment and fun and facts and fiction and. I think they make some. I think they make some stuff up, yeah. But they have a great time, and it really does kill the drive time. So people get between distilleries or between horse farms, and they don't realize how long it's taken to get there.
Good. So I guess let's talk a little bit more about the business and kind of what you can actually expect. I guess if you own a business and you want to create some sort of team planning event, right? You want to build some team building. You want to be able to get your crew together. You want to get your coworkers and do something that's not the normal. Let's go out to the bar down the street and let's all talk, or
go drive go-karts.
Go drive go-karts, whatever it is, right? So I guess talk about what you can do for kind of corporate business to business kind of thing.
Yeah, and that market's growing for us. So a lot of people realize they get that time on the bus where they can relax, enjoy themselves, not worry about driving, have a beverage or two, get comfortable, and enjoy their time.
You up a little bit.
It does open you up a little bit. But we've done a lot of that. In the financial markets in 2008, 9, and 10, it was about customer retention. So we got a lot of local banks and financial companies taking their clients and customers out just to enjoy an experience and build their relationship socially, and that's kind of continued on.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I think we've talked about it a little bit before. Is that there's a lot of opportunity that's being developed inside a lot of the enterprises here inside of Louisville, internships, co-ops, and bringing kids from around the country. And it's an opportunity for these big enterprises to show, like, Louisville's more than just baseball bats, right? Like there's a lot more we can show here, and being able to deliver them that sort of experience when they come to just interview.
Yeah, we do that for Humana and Yum, for example. Right now, it's a Living in Louisville tour. So these interns come in and they're really grooming them or trying to retain them for jobs and to move to Louisville from the Northeast, the Southeast, the Southwest. And so we take them out on an adventure and show them the parks, show them downtown, show them the living ability or the living locations around town, and just get them out on the road and have a good time.
So I guess if anybody's thinking about a relocation to Louisville, make sure you work that into your contract to say, when I come and interview, I want a Mint Julep tour, Living in Louisville tour, and I gotta see what this is all about. Yeah. Right.
We also have for kind of the brides out there, we have a get the family out of the bride's hair tour, is what we call it. So these families come in, and you think about it, they all land on Thursday, the wedding's Saturday. They're looking for things to do and kill time on Friday. And so you're trying to get everybody out of the bride or the groom's hair necessarily. So we created this get the family out of the bride's hair
tour. Them off on you.
That's correct. Give them to us. We'll take care of them.
Be more than happy to do
That's
it.
right. We'll bring them back relaxed.
Exactly.
I mean, it definitely sounds more interesting than the usual corporate, like let's go do trust falls somewhere, right? That it gives everybody a little bit more ability to meet their team members, because you can always say, like, I don't know about that Judy character, but as soon as she gets 2 drinks in her, she's a completely different person, right? So another thing that you talk about on your website is that you also offer expert bourbon tastings. I guess you can kind of dive in a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we've been fortunate that we've built great relationships with all the master distillers, some of the local, Mike Veach, the historian in the Bourbon Hall of Fame, Fred Minnick, great author that's had several books out, Susan Riegler, and even our guides have become really well-versed at all the brands and the flavor profiles and how to properly taste bourbon. So we provide that service on a number of occasions, especially around Derby time, when we have a big influx of people that are coming in and want bourbon tastings at their parties or at their events.
Is Derby a pretty high time for you guys?
It's huge.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All 10 of those vehicles are running, right?
All hands on deck, and I don't leave the garage for about 3 days.
Well, this whole city shuts down for 3 weeks. It's like crazy. We know how to party, so it's a lot of fun.
So another thing to kind of talk about is what you also offer on our website. You have some things that are Mint Julep Exclusives. One of those things on the website is the Maker's Mark After Dark. So we'll kind of talk about that and what kind of separates you from Any other else in the industry that's trying to offer just tours of Kentucky and bourbon distilleries?
Sure. We've worked real hard and really proud of the fact that now we can say we can provide a 360-degree full view of the bourbon industry. The Sherman family over at Vendome has allowed us to start touring people through the facility to show them how the stills are raised from a flat sheet of copper all the way to be those beautiful stills that they are today. And Brown-Forman's Cooperage has allowed us to bring guests in there on an exclusive basis to see how the barrels are raised by hand and fired to the right char. Yeah. And then taken to a distillery. So they get to see the stilling, they get to see the barrel making, and they get to see the bourbon all in a 360-degree view.
Every process.
Every part of the process.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
So for those connoisseurs out there, and for non-connoisseurs, it's just fascinating to see a flat sheet of copper form into a still and to see these oak sheets of lumber form into these barrels. Is just amazing.
I think I look at that as a very interesting kind of way to do it, right? Because you can spend time going to 6 or even all 7, 8, 9, how many distilleries there are, right? But you're kind of going to get the same common theme to all of them, right? It's going to be like, here's the beer stack.
51% corn.
Like here's the mash, here's how it works, here's the grinder, this is where we get our grains. But you don't think about the other aspects to it, right? You can see the still, you can see it working, but what was the process to get that, right? It goes and gets barreled, and then it sits in these rick houses for 4 to 23 years. Well, where do the barrels come from? Talk about the different char levels, like all these different things that also affect the flavor profile, because that's what not people understand is that it could just be the mash bill, but the char affects the flavor. The way that the master distiller designs these stills, that also affects it. So it's as you said, it's an all-encompassing sort of thing. Yeah,
no two stills are alike, no two barrels are alike, and it really, quite honestly, I think they're pieces of art.
Absolutely,
with no question. So you're getting to see artisan kind of work in an industrial setting.
So what about the Maker's Mark After Dark tour? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. That's we leave Louisville, downtown Louisville, about 1 or 1:30 in the afternoon, and we get to Maker's Mark after their last public tour of the day, and then the distillery is closed to touring, the gift shop's closed to buying gifts, and then we have access to the property. And so in working with them, our group has a private tour through to the distillery, gets to see more than the common public experience, private gift shopping and bottle dipping. And then in the Chihuly Barrel Warehouse room, we host a cocktail reception with heavy hors d'oeuvres and cocktails. Cool. So it's really a private behind the scenes and after dark experience down there.
Yeah, because a lot of these distilleries, they're almost running 24/7, right? They're running a lot, but the gift shops, those things close down at 4:00 usually sharp, right? Like there's people that they just want to go home. But this is definitely a unique experience for anybody that kind of wants to get that and be able to see it after hours, what's going
intimately.
on. Yeah, especially. It's definitely more intimate. Yeah. All right, well, Sean, great. This is fantastic having you on the show today. So if anybody does want to get in touch with you and schedule a Mint Julep tour, how do they do that?
Just go on our website, mintjuleptours.com, or give us a call at area code 502-583-1433, and anyone in our sales department can handle any one of your questions.
That's fantastic. Well, again, thank you very much for your time. A second time.
Yeah, thanks for the redo.
It's a pleasure. And as we say around here, keep your wheels down and your bungs up.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much, Sean. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.
If you like what you hear, make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Bourbon Pursuit.
Yeah, any suggestions, comments, interviews, suggestions, we appreciate feedback. So leave your comments in the show notes. Appreciate it. Hope you enjoy.